We just need to get a few other things sorted. All right, so we're already live on YouTube. Just in case you're not following, you can follow me on my YouTube channel. You can subscribe to my YouTube channel and then also benefit from quite a few other content that we drop there from time to time. Also, we did establish quite a few things last week. If you missed out on last week's edition, I would recommend you go back and watch it, okay? I was listening to it and I was thinking, man, that was huge. That was great. So we've touched on quite a lot in the structure of this particular series of lecture. We're using the three framework, the triangle of life, being, doing, and achieving. And we did establish that the being is what we regard as personal transformation. And then the doing is where we talk about income generation, planning, and application. And we did mention last week that if you're not making money, you will not be able to manage or multiply money. So the pillar, the foundation for wealth creation and financial freedom is actually personal transformation, and it's a lifelong assignment. You will never graduate from having to evolve and improve on yourself and become a superior version of yourself. We also went on to say that once that is sorted, then the next phase is income generation, plan, and application. And we began dissecting that. And that's where we began from last week. So the focus in the next couple of sessions that we will have will be around making money, managing money, and multiplying money. Of course, we will deal more on making and managing money. And then maybe in the next phase, we'll start talking on asset accumulation, retention, optimization and retention. Okay, so let's see how far we can go. And we started talking about the subject of sales. And that is one skill that will never, ever go into extinction. It is one thing that will separate you from the rest of the pack. If making money is important to you, then you have to prioritize your skill, your selling skill. You have to invest in your ability to sell. Ability to sell yourself, ability to sell product, ability to sell service, ability to sell a vision. Essentially, your ability to communicate is what this is about. So, well, I touched on quite a lot, and because we have so much to cover, let me just proceed. So, just a quick recap. We did mention last week that the business of sales is about people. It's all about people. Number two, we did mention that selling is about building and nurturing relationships. If you're not good at initiating and nurturing relationships, you won't actually succeed in sales. We also went on to say selling is about converting relationships to cash. We did mention that money hides in people, and your ability to sell is what unlocks the cash inherent within every relationship. By the way, if you can hear me loud and clear, please just type 10. If you can hear me loud and clear, type 10, please. Okay? And then number 4, we went on to say, if you have nobody who trusts you, thank you very much. If you have nobody who can trust you, who can vouch for you, then you will hardly make sales. So the foundation for successful sales is trust. All right. So it's very, very critical. It's very, very critical. So any thing that you put in place, any structure, any system, any tool, any expression, any communication, any message that you put out there that, establish or reinforces your trust in the people, that enables people to trust you, will ultimately enhance your sales, your ability to sell more. Okay. And then we did mention that people buy only from those they know, like, and trust. All right. So over the last few weeks, if you've been following, even if you were new to me 5 weeks ago, and today you've listened to me over the last 5 weeks, it has shaped your perception of me. If you never knew me before, now you know me. And then until people know you, they don't have opportunity to like you. And until they like you, there's no opportunity to trust you. And let me also put this caveat out. Don't expect everybody, no matter how much you try, you cannot convince or persuade everybody. It's important you disconnect yourself from expecting yes from everybody. It's important because this is one of the key reasons why a lot of people fail to even communicate in the first instance, because they already anticipate a no, they already anticipate rejection. But see, that's the opinion of whoever you are discussing with, right? And sometimes because of past experiences, people shut out, they shut down, or they become defensive. So they don't even allow free flow of thought, free flow of ideas. So you must learn to recognize and see whether it's a yes or a no. Your objective must be, I want to make a contribution. I was discussing with a gentleman who reached out to me recently, and we're discussing a very major deal. And, at a point, I had to let him know, I said, sir, you see, the goal of my conversation with you is to let you know that even if we belong to the same an association together, and I told him, I said, see, even if you don't do business with us, it doesn't mean you still can't reach out to me. You see, the moment you can, it also relieves you of pressure. It relieves you of desperation, right? Even if you don't do business with me, you can still reach out to me and I will still provide you answers to this or that, okay? So we all must go. That is one thing that will keep you focused on adding value to people's lives beyond just sales, okay? And this is very, very important. Very, very, very important if you want to really be a successful salesperson, of course. And then again, we went on to say, but people who buy the highest from you often take time to buy. So if you are trying to close a $1 billion deal, a $2 billion deal, sometimes even $100 million, $50 million deal, people will take their time before they make that decision, okay? And in a place like Nigeria, it's unfortunate. It is the people who are crooks that sometimes, now get me right, it's not all the time, that sometimes appear to be getting the money. And then the people who are genuine, who are sincere, who are transparent, who are honest, don't appear to be getting the income. So whichever way, I'm going to be giving you some of the things I've learned in the course of this lecture. So let's go right into this today. So number 6, you must understand these are facts for ultimate success in sales. So you want to succeed in sales. What we've been looking at since last week is just looking at the things that will help you succeed in sales. Number 6 is money follows assets. In investments, money follows assets. But you see, in sales, money follows trust and value. In investments, in business, money follows assets. It's important you know that, right? But when it comes to business, when it comes to sales, money follows trust and value. Now, there's a concept called the velocity of money. And velocity of money typically means or refers to the speed at which money flows or toward or away from someone, all right? And what I've come to discover over the years is that the more trustworthy a person becomes, the more trustworthy an individual becomes or a business becomes, the more money flows in that direction. The more valuable, a person becomes, the more money flows in their direction. So this is so critical. It's so critical. It's so critical. Please, let's take note of that. So if you want money to constantly flow to you as a sales, you want to succeed in sales, you must understand the concept of trust and value. Because I've played in different industries over the last 23 years of my working career, I can tell you for free that people have experienced all sorts. So sometimes when they come with when they express lack of trust, validate it. When they express their fear, validate it. And the reason this is so important is mainly because whether you are conscious of it or not, everybody has gone through one experience, either directly or indirectly. So if your mother ever lost money doing the particular deal, automatically it affects the children. Just 2 days ago, I saw a video which my mentor posted in one of our groups. And the guy was sharing the story of how his father in the 70s, went to the West. That guy was a genius, studied architecture. I probably will share that video also with you guys, and let us discuss. Let's just discuss lessons from there. And then the guy was talking about a whole lot of things, how that the father was a genius, made a lot. He was the first Black person to, be on the board of, I think, World Trade Center. He listed a lot of accomplishment by his father, but that each time his father, was making a lot of progress, in the West, particularly in the US, in the UK. He went to study in the UK, eventually migrated to the United States. He was always telling the mom that his passion, his vision is really for Nigeria. And then the gentleman came to Nigeria, bought the place we call Lekki today, Morocco. He bought the whole place, and unfortunately, he was deceived. The long and short story of this gentleman was the fact that they killed his father. He said at some point they decided, to negotiate, because the father went to the court to fight for his rights, and then they compensated him with another island. He requested for Lagoon, and that Lagoon is what we now know as Banana Island today. And, the guy went on to say that was the federal government that settled his father. Cut the long story short, the father went on, started filling, started preparing that place and all of that. And by the time it was done, the Lagos state government now came and said, no, you can't take the place. In other words, they also cheated him out. What's the point I'm trying to make? That gentleman, even though he's a Nigerian American, right, is a product of that father's experience. And today he has written a book. In fact, he has written several books. He's an author, he's a podcaster, he's many things. And that experience of his father, even though it was not his direct experience, but the experience of his father is not showing. So whether you like it or not, there's nothing you want to tell him about Nigeria that will make him to want to believe in the Nigerian polity or the Nigerian system, right? But I will share that video with us in our community, and then we can all learn and draw lessons from it, and share thoughts that we think we can do, deploy to improve our strategies, especially when it comes to investing in Nigeria and in anywhere in the world for that matter. All right. So money follows assets when it comes to investment, but when it comes to business and sales, money follows trust and follows value. So the more valuable you get, the more trustworthy you are, the more money flows to you. Number 7, the sales you make today is a result of relationships you built yesterday. And a lot of times people don't realize this simple fact. The sales that you make today is a result of the relationships you built yesterday. Now listen to this carefully. Every time you are not making sales, you are not building relationships. I'll repeat that again so I can sink, it can settle in. Anytime you are not making sales, you are not building relationships, you are not building network, right? Now listen, you don't put sales forward, you put the relationship first. You put value first before you start talking opportunity to make money. And it's important because you see, if you are not salesy, if you are not the type of, buy from me now, and all of those things. You see, sometimes people tell you things and say, this guy does not even make so much noise about. It's the fact that, see, there is no point. I will tell you the value that exists. You decide, and if you need further clarification, you book an appointment with me. All right. Now, that may not be some other people's style, but that's really the way I see it. I don't like it when people reach out to me and try to put me under pressure to make buying decisions. If it is valuable to me, I can decide by myself, right? So I'm an adult, for God's sake. So, and it's the same way. So I can only guide people in making decisions. So, but the point I'm trying to make here is relationship first, right? Even when you now make the sale, you still continue to nurture the relationships. What some people do is once they make sales, they forget the relationship. And this is why a lot of people don't make it in sales. This is why people don't make it in sales. I can tell you this for free. I know so. All right. This is one of the key reasons. So the sales you make today is a result, is an outflow, is an offshoot of the relationships you built yesterday. So invest time in building strategic networks. Invest time in building communities. This is your key to sales growth. All right. If you want to make sales consistently, this is the key. This is the key. All right. You have to constantly be putting out content out there. You have to constantly be putting out value out there. You have to continue to build trust. You have to continue to nurture your relationships. It's a lot of work. All right. All right. So this is so important. Some of the poorest salespeople are very poor in building relationships. So if you're not making income, it could literally be, it could be that you are very poor at sustaining relationships. I can tell you that the people who get the best of deals and the biggest of contracts and all of those things are not necessarily the most skillful. In fact, they are not often the ones that can deliver on the job. They are just the ones who are in the right network. So please take note of this. Take note of this. This is wisdom nuggets. All right. You miss out on this. You see, the people who caught the biggest deals, they are well positioned, right? A woman, I can't remember her name now, was being interviewed a while back, and she was talking about how that she was doing really well, pretty well in her career, and she was excellent and all of that, but she wasn't getting promotion. And she thought that by delivering results was enough to earning promotions. What he didn't realize is that it was skill plus relationship that moves you up the ladder. In fact, it gets to a point in your career journey. It's now about relationship more. It's now about your ability to communicate and make and nurture relationships that helps you to scale in your career. For those of you who think that any more certification, getting more degrees is the pathway, no, it's not the only pathway. Having that will give you a foot in the door, but it will not necessarily give you access. So relationships, very, very, very important. Let me give you this. In my book, Financial Freedom Master Guide, for those of you who may not already have the book, that's the manual for that book. If you live in Nigeria, you can call the number 07087970441. And then if you are outside Nigeria, you can book that book. You can order that book on Amazon. All right. So my name is Oladipupo Clement, and the title of the book is Financial Freedom Master Guide. Phenomenal book, and that's the manual for many of the things I'm sharing. But I'm just trying to give you some perspective. In that book, I talked about 3 keys that will help you build and give you access and give you a place in the seat among kings, right? And those 3 keys are this. Number 1 is giving. Giving opens door. When the Bible says that the gift of a man will make room for him, he was not only talking about talent, he was also talking about gifts. All right, gifts that you give, it opens door, it gives you access. All right. Then the other one, the second thing you must do is about understanding palace protocol. Understanding palace protocol means that when you want to call somebody of value, not even somebody of value, it's not out of play to, if you are a person of value, it's important you also recognize this rule. So you just simply send messages like, oh, is it a good time to call? When is it a good time to call you? Right? You are placing premium on that person. It's palace protocol. When will you be free? When will it be fine to see you? Or when will it be, the appropriate time to connect with you, right? Don't just take your relationships for granted. It's part of the honor, that you have to extend, to people. So palace protocol will give you a seat. There are people who have given, and I'm telling you the exact things I've done myself. There are relationships, the networks I have broken into, and this were the same template I used, but with clear and genuine intention and motive, not with intention to rob, to mislead people. No, not at all. Right? It works anytime, any day, because every human being you ever meet anywhere in the world has what is called the emotional bank account. The question is, in order to nurture those relationships, we must understand that you need to make deposit before you can make withdrawal. And this is so critical. So after you're giving, understanding palace protocol will give you, in fact, one of those days, one of my mentors gave me, I requested for his number and he gave me immediately. And I said, I promise you, sir, I'm not going to come in your way. I'm not going to, so except I'm sending him an information that I believe will benefit him, or except I'm wishing him happy new month or happy birthday or whatever, happy Merry Christmas or something. I don't I don't get into the way. But he's at liberty to reach me anytime. He's at liberty to reach me anytime. So I guard those kind of relationships with a lot of understanding of palace protocol. So if the protocol is go through their PA, go through the PA, all right? And then if you need to seek audience, when you eventually find audience, which is what I did with some of my mentors, when I finally gain audience, I now build a personal relationship that does not need to go through protocol, that does not need to go through PA, but I still would not abuse that relationship. Understanding palace protocol is one of those keys. They also want confidentiality, right? So there are some relationships that because of what you had conversation, because of your proximity with them, doesn't give you the liberty to just broadcast their news or broadcast their information. That's why you see some of us will continue to use the word one of my mentors. You don't necessarily mention their name because whatever it is you discuss should remain within there. That's understanding palace protocol. All right. This is so important. This is so critical. And so the third one is, is about honor. Honor is what will give you a seat with them permanently. Honor is what will give you a seat with them permanently. All right. Honor will give you a seat there permanently. So the woman I was talking about, when she realized during that interview, realized that, so it's not just about skills and that you need a sponsor. Some people have mentors, but they don't have sponsors. Some people have mentors, and the mentors they have are outside of the organization where they work, and they're expecting career growth. What you need in most organizations is that you also need a sponsor. And the three things I just listed here will turn mentors within your organization into sponsors. They will put a word, they will give endorsement. They are the ones who will put you there. You see, whether you like, this is human engineering. All right. This is about human connections. All right. It's important. People buy you first before they buy your service. They buy your product. All right. So it does not matter the value you think you are bringing to the table. If they don't perceive you as someone that values them, forget it. So please, this is so important. So the sales you make today is a result of relationships you built yesterday. So invest heavily in building and nurturing relationships. Number eight, and this is where I'm going to stop for today and then probably take questions, okay? Because there's so much to cover. We have so much. We have quite a lot. Let me see if I can do three more, okay? Number 8, if selling is your goal when a relationship is still new, then you are late. I'll repeat that again so that it can sink. If making a sale is your goal when a relationship is still young, is still new, then you are late. If you must make a sale today, right? If today is the day you really want to make that sale, then that relationship should be 1 month old, 2 months old, 6 months old, or 1 year old. Which means if we really follow the last point we just made, the sale I will make tomorrow, I should start nurturing the relationship now. The sale I will make next year, I should start nurturing the relationship now. So for those of you who are in business, who are in the business of selling, you must understand this principle, this password is very, very important. You will be late to be placing a demand on the relationship you have not had the opportunity to nurture or make deposits in. So at the start of a relationship, this is what I've come to realize. At the start of a relationship, trust is zero. Let me tell you something. Every relationship will be challenged. Every relationship will be challenged, one way or another. But if you have a history with me of how things went bad and how I dealt with those issues, how I managed circumstances and dealt with crises, it will help you to build confidence, right? That even if something of higher value happens, when it comes, this person will forget it. You will find a way around it, all right? And it will help empath. It will help enhance empathy. So a lot of us don't have history with people, and that's why it's easy for them for there to be fallout of trust. All right. So if selling is your goal when a relationship is still new, all right, then you are late. That's number 8. So at the start of a relationship, trust is 0 or negative, depending on where you meet the person. But as a relationship begins to grow in fulfilled promises, trust continues to grow. So the emphasis here is about trust, and it takes time to build trust. Now, if you meet someone who has been betrayed, who has been jilted, right, the history the person has already puts them emotionally in a negative. So no matter how good or genuine or transparent or honest or valuable you think you are or trustworthy you think you are, your relationship with that person is 0 or negative. So it will take a bit of time to understand that person, to understand their history, to understand their journey, to be able to build your own journey with them and move it positive, all right? To move them from 0 to positive or negative to positive. And until that happens, there can't be exchange of money. Listen. There are people who the entire value of business they've done with me is still in the realm of millions. But when God promotes and elevates such people, right, and they are now in the realms of billions, they will still find me trustworthy because the way I dealt with them when we're doing $1,000 deal, right, in $1,000 deal, it has already elevated their trust in me. And so this is so important. So important. So you want to build your trust. So that's what essentially you nurture in a relationship. That's what you nurture in a relationship. Fulfill promises. So as your history of fulfilled promises continues to grow, the trust they have for you continue to grow, even when there's adversity. Because like I always say to people, adversity will happen. It will happen. There will be challenges. Let's not deceive ourselves, right? And because of the numerous experiences, horrible experiences that most people have had, it is easy for them to start judging you in the light of what other crooks have done, all right? But when adversity happens, like I always say, adversity is the truest test of your integrity, all right? It's the truest test of your integrity. So you want to protect your integrity by all means, right? You make sure that you deliver on, on promises, you deliver on value and all of that. So this is so critical. Number 9, selling responds to emotions elicited by deadlines and urgency. Now, let me quickly establish this. Selling responds to emotions elicited by deadlines and urgency. Now, there are moments where you have built trust, you have built relationship. You just need to know the phase in which that relationship is with you. Okay? In one of my YouTube videos, I did a series on the 5 levels in your journey in sales. And the first one is suspects. The second one is prospects. Even in my book, it's also in my book. The third one is customer, right? So when you meet someone, most times when it comes to sales, they are suspects, simply suspects, right? By the time you begin to nurture that relationship, they become prospect. You book appointments. And then by the time, over a period of time, they make a buying decision. When they make a buying decision, they become customer. When they do repeat purchase, they become clients. When they start talking to other people about you, they have become raving fans. But it's a journey. That journey of moving somebody from being a suspect to a raving fan can take 5 years, can take 10 years, can be 6 months, can be 1 year, all right? So those are the key elements, and it's important to recognize. But there will be time when you recognize that, okay, this person, your relationship with this person has gone past this level, all right? And you just want to kill it. You want to create some sense of urgency. At that point in time, you introduce urgency, because whether you like it or not, there's what is called neuromarketing. It's more about emotions. So you want to create some sense of urgency, not necessarily just because you're trying to create a sense of urgency, but you don't want the person also to miss out on an offer or an opportunity. And that's why you have to introduce that from time to time. If you have built your relationship to a point where you are believable, you are trustworthy, at least in the eyes of the person you have been building relationship with, that at some point you will need to introduce some sense of urgency or make an offer. All right. So if for example, I'm in the property business, and if a property is selling for 100 million or 200 million, and I say to the person, if you can take up this this offer now, will give you 20% off. That's an offer that somebody should not take advantage of. Just lock it down with this amount. You created a sense of urgency, and you bypass the head into emotions. Those are some of the things that you will also need to learn to do, especially if you start selling online, if you have to sell online, because with all your contents that you will put out there in the market, let me also tell you upfront, that is part of the vehicle for building trust online. To build trust online, you have to constantly be putting out content out there online. Every business today must be a media and a tech company. Every business, no matter the industry in which they play, must constantly become a media and a tech company. So there must be something that people are seeing about you out there. They must be consuming your material from time to time. That is how you eventually get a bite, a portion of the market share. This is so important. It's so important. So, and in some of those programs, you have to introduce that sense of urgency in order to make sales. Otherwise, most people will still remain prospects and not customers. And some people will only remain customers and not necessarily clients. Okay. Number 10, let's end here today. Selling requires laser focus on your target market. Selling requires laser focus on your target market. In the video I pushed out today, we're pushing out today on my YouTube channel, I spoke on the power of focus, and I spoke on 5 critical benefits of focus. Basically, the theme of that particular video is overcoming distractions. See, everybody is not your customer. It's important to find ways to pre-qualify your customer. Now, if you are an impatient person, if you are the type of person who is luxury focused and all of those things, it already defines your market. So there are some places you should not even be, there are some people you should not be talking with. Now, sometimes when you see people act in that manner, it is because they know who is not their customer. I remember I signed up for an executive coaching service with a firm years back. And when we're talking about, the brand strategy, blah, 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 my executive coach said to me, she said, you know what? You people can't afford us. He said the companies that can afford them are banks that have been existing, that are listed on the stock exchange and all of those. That was the way she said it. All right. And, she said, you people can't afford us. Said, I would recommend you guys do the implementation, and we can just provide you guidance and all of those things. Of course, as time went on, as the company grew, we were able to afford it, and we brought them on board. Now, the point I'm trying to make is that you need to be very clear on who your ideal market is. If you want to make sales, you're not supposed to be speaking to everybody. Now, what I'm doing now, I'm speaking to everybody, but it's not everybody that can afford my coaching services, for example. It's not everyone who can afford you see, what I'm dishing out here, there are customized version of it for individuals depending on where they are. And that requires coaching. Every successful person out there has a coach, right? Unfortunately, a lot of people want to play big, but they don't have coaches, right? So, but it's important to know that it's not everybody that can afford your service or afford your product. And so be clear as to who your ideal target market is, so that you won't be selling diaper to men and then wondering why you are not making sales. All right. So this is so important. So important. Okay. So selling requires laser focus on your target market. So have you defined who your ideal market is? Have you come to terms with who your ideal market is? I'm sure that these are some of the things that we'll be touching on in the course of our relationship, and I'm going to really help you in defining, refining your ideal targets, and then match them with the product or service that you render, or the problems you are solving, right? And then you'll be amazed. There's a section of every market that fits into your ideal customer. And if you speak their language, you communicate the way, and you communicate and speak to their pain, then you will attract them naturally to yourself. All right. And that's pretty much the way this works. All right. I hope this has been of great value to you. Thank you very much, everyone. And do you have questions? Let's take questions right about now. We will continue again next week, Saturday. Has this been of value to you? You can comment in the chat room. You can comment on YouTube for those of you who are going to be watching this, who are watching this on YouTube. So you can comment, let me know. And then if there's any area or questions you have, feel free to drop those questions as well. I want to really, really be of value to you. That's the reason I'm putting this together. I really, really want to be of value to you. I want to pour myself out. I want to pour myself out. I really, really, really want to add value to you. That's my objective, nothing else. So anything else that comes is just by the way. Okay? All right. Thank you very much. Thank you too. Thank you too. Thank you too. Please, you will do well to follow me on social media, on all my Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. Okay, it's no longer Twitter now, it's now X. Okay. You can also, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Like I said, every Saturday, all of this content that we're sharing are all on my YouTube channel. Okay. Maybe in the course of this series, I'm going to talk about YouTube and some of my discoveries about YouTube. Okay. I'll share some of my discoveries about YouTube with you. So, but for now, let's just continue to subscribe and then continue to share. Feel free to share this with any businessman or woman that you may know. And I'm certain that it's going to be of value to them as well, just as it is to you. Okay? So do you have any question or do we call it a day? While we're waiting for more questions, let me ask that if you are not aware, I'm the CEO of LifePage, and we're currently running a series of programs called the Mega Housing Summit, starting today. So by 7 p.m. West African time, 2 p.m. EST, you can join us live. It's going to be power-packed, and we have, phenomenal speakers, who are going to be speaking beginning from today. So join us at 7 p.m. or 2 p.m. EST. For those of you in America and in another time zone, CST is going to be 1 p.m. So make time out to be a part of it. We're dishing out heavy stuff. For those of you who want to buy real estate in Nigeria, this program is one you should not miss for any reason. It's power-packed, and I really strongly recommend you don't miss it for anything. So for the next 3 Saturdays, we'll be having the Mega Housing Summit. I have my mentor, I have some of my heavy duty friends who are also going to be sharing platform with me. So make it a date. Also, every Wednesday we host what we call the Bible Sense for Living on IGTV. Last week, I still announced that it's going to be 12 noon West African time, but because of change in my itinerary, it's now going to be 11 a.m. West African time. So please take note of that. For those of you who are in America, please take note. It means that you'll still be on bed, most likely, when I will go live. So EST is going to be 6 a.m. and then 5 a.m. CST. So please let's take note of all of this. I am very persuaded that what we're also sharing on the Bible Sense for Living, the series, has been an exciting one also. So please make time out. And if you are not able to join, you can watch the replay either on my YouTube channel or you can watch it also on my IGTV. Okay, so that's about that. Do we have any question? Any question? Any question? Okay, I want to know the latest news about Richness. Oh, Richness, we're making progress. The project we're doing is ongoing. In fact, we're relaunching it in a massive way and repurposing it. So those of you who already took advantage of that is intact. But because this is not a live platform, what I would suggest is you can reach out to my executive assistant. You can book you on the call and have a one-on-one engagement with you. Alternatively, you can reach out to the office directly. Okay. Thank you so much, In-Game Currency. Thank you for joining. And thank you for that question. You have always been, thank you very much, Mr. Beninga. All right, Mr. Kweyemiola, good to have you here, bro.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you for this value. A lot of values we receive And we always receiving. God bless you, sir, for giving out. Yeah, I just have one quick question. I remember you said on this call that if the purpose of your relationship is for sale and the relationship is new, you're already late.
Yes.
So my question is, if you still want to make that sale, how do you go about it?
Just nurture the relationship from there. So just start nurturing the relationship. It means that you did not preempt that you would make sales. I mean, just this week, I was, because I'm also a pastor ministering in church. The minister who anchored prayer session was talking of a testimony that happened in his life, and then he said he knows that pastor is supposed to flog him. He said because he was rendering a service free of charge to a particular foundation and doing a non-profit assignment, and all of that. And he's been doing that with them for years. And then there are other volunteers who are so very big, very successful individuals, who are also team members on that platform. And at a time came, they've been seeing his work and they felt, this guy is very, very good. So they decided to invite him to come and cover an event. And this time around, it's supposed to be a paid event, and they asked him how much will he charge. But because he felt, we're all members of the same, foundation and all of that, he just said, he mentioned a very ridiculous amount. I don't even want to mention it. And then it was when he eventually showed up at the event, he realized that these people could have actually paid him way more, and he was judging based on. So sometimes also you have not made a sale because you did not preempt, you did not envision that this relationship could deliver this much resource to you. So what you must do, if you realize that you're already late, is to start nurturing with intentionality. Nurture that relationship with intentionality, and then begin to add value. Sometimes you can do pro bono to get endorsement so that you can reach more larger audience. All right. Sometimes that can work. All right. Depending on the service, depending on the kind of industry in which you're playing or the product or service you are rendering. All right. If I have a one-on-one and I know a particular situation, I may be able to give further recommendations, but this is a generic recommendation. I hope this made sense, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. That makes sense.
Yes, sir. Any other question? All right. Yes, I know this is not the platform. So please just reach out to 0708 in Came Currency. Please reach out to 0708 797 0441. I already responded to your question when I saw it earlier. And I told you, I already mentioned a few things, but to get updates, I would give it to you, either you book an appointment, we can do a Zoom call, and then, or you reach out to my other office, my business office. So, and then we'll give you further updates on that. There's a whole lot that's happening simultaneously. I'm not a one-man riot. So there's a system going on simultaneously as I speak. Yeah. So thank you very much, everyone. And thank you for staying tuned to this program. So till we connect again next week, Saturday, by 5 p.m. West African time, 12 noon EST, 11 a.m. CST. Please keep your dreams alive. See you again next week. Bye for now.